Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead are two of the most popular shows of the last decade, and one convincing theory suggests they take place in the same universe. Today we're counting down 10 pieces of evidence as voted on by you, the viewers. In Breaking Bad, Walter White's crystal meth was known for its distinctive blue color, and although none of the characters in The Walking Dead acknowledge it, Walter's blue meth can clearly be seen in The Walking Dead Season 2 episode Bloodletting. Somehow Heisenberg's product made it all the way from New Mexico to Georgia, and some fans have suggested Walter's meth played a much larger role in the zombie apocalypse. Our next theory suggests that Walter White's meth is so potent, it could have turned its users into zombies. In Breaking Bad, we learn Walter's meth has made it all the way to Europe. Well, this theory suggests that a newfound global demand for blue meth may have led to chemicals leaking into the environment due to mass production. These chemicals could have led to a zombie apocalypse the characters in The Walking Dead now have to live in. In Season 4 of The Walking Dead, Daryl mentions running into a guy that sure sounds an awful lot like Jesse Pinkman. Daryl describes his brother Merle's old drug dealer as a janky little white guy. Apparently, this guy told him, "I'm gonna kill you, bitch." Jesse Pinkman certainly is a janky-looking white guy who has a proclivity for using the B-word. Next up, both shows have a character named Glenn who drives a red Dodge Challenger featuring black racing stripes. In the second episode of The Walking Dead, a guy named Glenn is seen driving a red Dodge Challenger, the same kind of car Walter White buys for Walt Jr., which Skyler forces him to return. And as Walter tries to return it, we hear that the used car salesman is a man named Glenn. This next one is a clearly intentional Easter egg. A song about Heisenberg shows up in Fear the Walking Dead. Negro y Azul is an in-universe song from the second season of Breaking Bad about Heisenberg's empire, and the same song can be heard in the background of Season 3, Episode 11 of Fear the Walking Dead as two characters walk through a marketplace. Next up, is it possible that Daryl and Merle could have gotten their drugs directly from Heisenberg or Gus Fring? Merle is the one who has the blue meth mentioned earlier, and we also learned that both he and Daryl were drifters who have suffered from addiction. You have to connect some dots, but it's possible they drifted over to New Mexico at some point and worked for either Walter White or Gus Fring, giving them access to blue meth. Who can forget poor sweet Gail, the chemistry apprentice slash murder victim who helped Walter and Jesse make meth? Gail also loved making coffee with an intricate coffee maker, which, you guessed it, shows up in a Season 3 episode of The Walking Dead. What are the odds two scientists both developed the same device to brew the perfect cup of joe? Eagle-eyed viewers have noticed that a similar roadside motel shows up in both shows. Breaking Bad has the Crossroads Motel, where Jesse meets up with Wendy the prostitute. Meanwhile, The Walking Dead has the Traveler Room. The introduction shots to both motels are practically identical, and they feature similar designs, which could suggest a connection. Okay, so this next one might be a bit of a stretch, but it's interesting to think about. Walter White and NEGAN could be the same person. An article from Uproxx in 2016 suggested that Walter White could have survived his fate in Breaking Bad, moved to Georgia, and become the villainous NEGAN. After all, both are charismatic, power-hungry leaders who feel no remorse in killing. Who knows? Maybe Walter visited a plastic surgeon after surviving a gunshot wound and cancer. Number 1 really changes some things about Breaking Bad. Gus Fring literally became The Walking Dead during his last scene. How many people do you think could walk away from an explosion, even for a few moments? After Hector Salamanca blows up his nursing home room with Gus in it, he's still able to walk into the hallway, for a little while, becoming The Walking Dead. Perhaps the only reason the blast killed him is due to the rubble blowing a hole through his head, and more importantly, his brain. And that's it. Check back next week to find out what else is rank-worthy.